My name is Rick Luftglass. I'm Executive Director of the Laurie Tisch Illumination Fund. I am so pleased by the level of discourse and discussion and thoughtfulness that's gone into today, and just really appreciate also the level of engagement, both from people in the room and people on Twitter and on the NBC.com live stream. So thank you. We've heard today about the role of the public sector, of nonprofits, community organizations, and universities. Building upon Jamie's and Noreen's comments related to foundation initiatives, I would like to speak briefly about what a foundation can do in this environment, and how our grantees that we're announcing today talk about some of their work, the evidence that they'll be building, and the impact that we think collectively we can have. The reality is the vast, vast majority of dollars in this system are government dollars. They're tax dollars. And so whether that comes through the form of public procurement or at hospitals, at schools, SNAP is a huge, huge part of the overall system and the safety net. And so philanthropy is, I don't want to say on the margins, but we have a particular role to play that hopefully is catalytic rather than trying to sort of change things en masse. We hope to work around the edges. Philanthropy has always played a key role in food systems change. For example, decades and decades ago around food security. I think long before it really came to the fore in terms of government policy. There was voluntary food banks. It was supported by charities, by individuals, by corporations. And today, foundations are approaching food through very different lenses. It's not just about health. It's not just about obesity. It's about jobs, it's economic development, it's community vitality. For some, it's environmental. For some, it's education. Foundations have a different mission. We're not the Health Foundation. We're not the Obesity Foundation. We are the Access and Opportunity Foundation, and we see that through any number of lenses that are all around leveling the playing field in New York so that food is not a privilege but is a right. So what foundations can... So what foundations can do, we think, is spark ideas, be a catalyst, forge partnerships, be a convener. We can invest in new ideas, sometimes take some risks. We try to, but we're also looking for evidence-based strategies. And we can be nimble, because we don't have to wait for a public referendum. We can act. So I'd like to introduce you to some of the first grantees of the Laurie Tisch Illumination Fund Healthy Food and Community Change Initiative. We're very confident that they're going to produce some real impact and results. Rather than a set of isolated grants, the strategy here is very intentional, and it comes out of a great deal of research and reports and talking to a lot of people in this room, a lot of experts, community organizations, friends at CARP Resources, Department of Health, Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors. It's been a very thoughtful process because what we don't want to do is just write a series of checks. We want to have an impact. And so that, as with any thought process here, has to be very intentional and structured. So we went through and identified some very key points that for us drove what we felt we should be doing in terms of investing what is a very nice chunk of change with $15 million. One, change is inclusive, it's local, and it's holistic. It happens at the neighborhood level. It's not swooping in. It's working with people who are invested in communities, embedded in communities, and have a vision of what makes a healthy, vibrant community. Two, government has to be at the table. That's how systems change. That's how scale is achieved. So again, we are blessed to have visionary public leaders, be it from the city, from the state, from federal, who are really committed to seeing significant change happen and to seeing ideas like people in the room here and that you'll hear bring to a scale where it can have a demonstrable impact. Three, in New York City, there are a vast number of incredible organizations on the ground doing great work. So we have structured initiatives, but We're a foundation. We do grant making. We call them good neighbor grants. And for us, it's a matter of how do we support lots of good work going on in the field. And 4, there are universities like Teachers College that understand community issues and that educate the future leaders in health, nutrition, and they can build the evidence base, the learnings, and the human capital. That led us to healthy food and community change. 4 components. We'll be supporting ambitious neighborhood-based, inclusive, and multifaceted initiatives such as LISC's New York City. LISC New York City's Healthy Food Communities and Healthy Food New York City. And City Harvest's Healthy Neighborhoods, all deeply embedded and collaborative. 2, we'll be supporting public-private partnerships, such as one you'll be hearing that unites Wholesome Wave with the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation, and Share Our Strengths work with organizations across the city to boost participation in the Department of Education's Summer Meals Program. 3, we're supporting organizations that fight issues like food insecurity, like the New York City Coalition Against Hunger, the United Way of New York City, and innovators in organizations like Wellness in the Schools. And I know we have the founders here, Nancy Easton and Bill Telepan. And so be ready, we're going to be talking. 4, as you know, we're establishing the Laurie Tisch Center for Food, Education, and Policy here at New York. At Teachers College. And though we didn't plan for it when we started this process, Hurricane Sandy came, uninvited, unwelcome. And organizations that provide food and that have been working for years to increase the availability of healthy foods experience setbacks. So we're committing $500,000 of the new funds for recovery of food organizations and for New York City green card vendors who lost work, who couldn't be on the streets, who lost inventory and sales. Green card vendors have a hard enough time. It's a very tough business. Having spent years and millions to make the New York City Green Card program what it is today, with 500 active vendors, 900 new jobs, there's just no way we could see vendors set back so severely from the hurricane. No way. I'd like to now invite the executive directors and leaders from some of the new grantees. I'm not sure if it's fair to call them our partners because it's their work. It's their ideas. It's their leadership and their blood, sweat, and tears. But hopefully not a lot of blood and not a lot of tears. Our goal at the Illumination Fund is to support, help, participate, when appropriate, convene, share ideas and learnings, and think about all the questions we talked about in terms of impact, outcomes. What are we trying to achieve, both at a program level and at a collective level? So first, we have Pam Cook and Isabel Contento, who'll tell you about the new center at Teachers College. Then we'll have Jilly Stevens of City Harvest, who'll tell you about its Healthy Neighborhoods initiative, which is not a new program, but is increasing its scale and impact. Then we'll have Michelle Nischan of Wholesome Wave, who'll tell you about the introduction of their fruit and vegetable prescription program, what they call FVRx, for the first time into New York City and specifically into New York City public hospitals. And then Denise Scott of LISC New York City, who will introduce Communities for Healthy Change NYC. I'm not going to read bios because they're in your programs, but first, let's have Pam and Isabel get us started. Let's hear about the center.
Including healthier eating. We are honored today that she has made us a key partner in her Healthy Food and Community Change initiative. And we are enormously grateful for her generous gift to establish the Laurie M. Tisch Center for Health, Education, and Policy here at Teachers College. Our interest in this area and prior work over the past decades have been inspired by the work and thinking of Dr. Joan Gusso, who back in 1970 who way back in 1970 was already talked about the importance of focusing on food and sustainable food systems at a time when the profession, of course, was very preoccupied with nutrients. And I think what we heard earlier today from the elected officials is they're finally catching up with her thinking. A few years late, but still it's better than it was before. So her breadth of knowledge, her keen mind, and her personal commitment has enabled her to make enormous contributions to both nutrition education and food policy. And we thank Joan for your inspiration and for your guidance over the years, and you can be sure that we'll look for more of these in the years to come. Okay. The Laurie M. Tisch Center has a unique focus to integrate food policy and nutrition education. With this gift, we expand our work in 3 highly interrelated areas. First, as a part of the program in nutrition, we will train the next generation of professionals at both the master's and the doctoral level who are competent in both food and food systems and nutrition education, as well as in policy work. And this we are fortunate to have with us as our partner the Department of Educational Policy and Social Analysis that Dr. Furman talked about earlier, with its vibrant and very competent faculty, and with Dr. Jeffrey Hennig as the chair, and he is here. We will also draw on the expertise of our colleagues in the Department of Health and Behavior Studies, led by Dr. Steve Peverly. Secondly, we will leverage the gift to conduct groundbreaking research and evidence-based evaluations that link education and policy to make it, so as to be able to make effective policies as well as programs that implement policy. This will involve faculty at Teachers College, as well as other institutions in New York City, and communities, organizations. Third, we will work alongside the other healthy food and community change grantees that you'll be hearing about soon, and their programs to link education and policy so as to transform the communities in which both Teachers College and the Tisch Illumination Fund serve. Dr. Pam Cook will briefly describe our approach and some potential work in this area.
Thank you. And as Isabel just said, what we are really going to do at the Laurie M. Tisch Center for Food, Education, and Policy is bring education and policy together. And we feel what makes that happen takes 3 essential ingredients. The first is access to good food, and we've been hearing about that all morning. The second key ingredient is motivation. People need to really believe that healthy eating is worth it. And on the panel, they just talked a little bit how you could take the carrot and the stick approach. So let me give you a little example of how different messages can come together to get someone motivated. Picture a high school student, Danny, who drinks several bottles a day of some kind of sweetened beverages, fruit punch and iced tea. And as Danny is going to school on the subway, he sees one of the Pouring on the Pounds posters that shows how much sugar is in different sweetened beverages, and he starts to think about it. Then in school, he has a good food education program, and he learns what happens in your body when you have too much sugar. And then after school, his school has a Go Green Club that's selling reusable water bottles and saying New York City tap water is free, healthy, and good for the environment. And that comes together, and he decides to buy a water bottle and stop drinking so much of those sweetened beverages. That's the second ingredient, motivation, and we want to try to get those motivational messages throughout our communities. The third ingredient is skills. So let's take some moms. They already want to feed their kids more fruits and vegetables, but what they need to do is know how to do it. So let's say they're going to a green cart, and they start looking at the vegetables, and they're not sure what to do with them until the vendor hands them one of the green cart cookbooks with great recipes and great photos, and they then feel like they know what to do. And then they go to a stellar farmer's market where there's a cooking demonstration. And again, they then have their SNAP benefits that they can extend with their health bucks, and then they actually feel even more confident that they know what to do. So now, let's picture a neighborhood where we can put together good food with lots of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains in the foreground, and things like soda and chips and fast food have faded into the background. That would be an amazing community. But we're not there yet. We've heard already this morning, too, from our policymakers that our food system is broken. We actually are still producing more meat and not enough fruit and vegetables. We have too many overly processed foods and not enough whole foods. And we are really not acknowledging or handling all the waste and pollution that is produced in our food system. So we will work with people around the country to steer our larger food system in the right direction, while at the same time working in New York City to have our communities have that combination of good access to food, great motivational messages, and learning skills to grow food, make healthy choices, and cook foods. And we're going to need to work with all of you, so we look forward to moving this ahead and getting a better society in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. And I would like to introduce our first grantee, Jilly Stevens of City Harvest.
Thank you very much, Rick. And it's very exciting to be here today and to be part of this conference this morning. And I would like to thank the Laurie Tisch Illumination Fund for involving City Harvest in this very important work that we have ahead of us. It's been a delight to work with Rick and Laurie and the rest of the team to get to this point. So, City Harvest has been an organization involved in New York City for over 30 years. The mission is to end hunger in New York City. We do that through rescuing really great food that would otherwise go to waste and moving it to parts of the city where people are hungry. At a time when 1 in 5 New Yorkers are struggling to put food on the table, they're living in poverty, this is an important piece of our work. This year, we expect to move over 42 million pounds, 60% of it will be fresh fruits and vegetables, and we expect to move that food to over 1 million New Yorkers. The food that we deliver is delivered free of charge. It's fast, it's fresh, it's free. We pick it up for one part of the city where it's going to go to waste, and it can be on someone's table this evening for dinner. We do this using a fleet of green trucks, the city's first fleet of refrigerated green trucks, and a small fleet of bicycles that you might have seen, with riders hauling up to 500 pounds of really great food to places where it's needed. As an expansion of this hunger work, several years ago, like so many of you in the room, we recognized that the very low-income neighborhoods where we were working, where people are already struggling with high rates of poverty, those are the very same neighborhoods where people were struggling with diet-related disease, diabetes, and obesity. And so our hunger work expanded into this initiative called Healthy Neighborhoods, which has been going for several years and has evolved over that time. The idea of the Healthy Neighborhoods program is to help, working in partnership not only with those on the ground in the communities, but with other organizations represented here in the room, to help transform the look of these low-income neighborhoods in New York City so that the residents can access good quality, affordable, nutritious food. Our healthy neighborhoods at the moment are in each of the 5 boroughs. We have a presence in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, Melrose in the South Bronx, the North Shore of Staten Island, Washington Heights, Inwood in Manhattan, and in Northwest Queens. The Healthy Neighborhoods Initiative consists of an array of interventions, integrated programs that are designed to increase access to and demand for healthy, affordable food. One of the anchor programs of the Healthy Neighborhoods Initiative is called the Mobile Market. It happens twice a month in each of those neighborhoods, and we're bringing massive quantities of fresh fruits and vegetables and giving it away to people living in low-income neighborhoods. We complement these distributions with nutrition education courses and with cooking demonstrations. We partner with community organizations. We recognize from the beginning that this isn't a program we can bring in. It's a program that has to be built with the support of the local community. And so our first step in going into a community is to create a community food assessment, collaborating with people who live and work right there in the neighborhood. Our staff also works with small independent supermarkets and with corner stores within the healthy neighborhoods to help them think differently about the types of food that they're stocking, and we provide them with the assistance that they need to ensure that they're providing that good quality, affordable, nutritious food. Now, we want to know that what we're doing is working, and that's a lot of what we're talking about today, and we're very interested in using evaluation to provide real-time lessons for us. 3 years ago, we contracted with an external evaluator to look at the impact of our Healthy Neighborhoods program. What we learned is that our mobile markets do lead to behavior change. More than 80% of the respondents eat more fruits and vegetables. Now, some might argue they would say that because you're giving it away for free. So we looked further and we learned that over 60% of them were shopping differently. They're shopping for a different type of food. We also learned that the cooking demonstrations that we provide as part of our mobile market program and within the corner store programs, those cooking demonstrations were cited as a leading reason for people making that behavior change when it comes to shopping for different food. So the results of this evaluation have helped us with our new 4-year program, a new vision for our Healthy Neighborhoods initiative. To support the goals that we have, we've invested in an internal evaluation function. We really will look very closely at monitoring and evaluating our programs and being prepared to change along the way and scale up those things that are working. We've hired an excellent director of that program. This initiative is what it is because of the superb staff in the Community Impact Department at City Harvest, and particularly the Healthy Neighborhoods Initiative team. And we look forward to coming back and sharing our results. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jilly, and congratulations to you, your amazing staff, some of whom are in the room, your board, volunteers, and the community partners that you work with every day. So, Michelle Nischan, your fruit and vegetable prescription program brings a very innovative and tested model to New York City for the first time. Michelle.
Hi, I'd just like to hold up Joan Gussow one more time. Coming from the chef community, her writings and her works really were the fuel for us to get so many of us behind this movement, the fact that good food is a right, not a privilege, and that it's our job to do the best that we can to be part of active communities and making that happen. So thank you, Joan, for inspiring so many of us. Good stuff. Anyway, I'm really pleased to be here. I thank Laurie, Tisch, for really taking the courage and the big steps to make such an investment in this initiative that's really going to change, I think, New York City. A little bit about Wholesome Wave. Wholesome Wave programs began 5 years ago with an effort to double the value of SNAP benefits when spent at farmers markets on locally grown fruits and vegetables. And we've been measuring that work over the last 5 years. So what we've found is that healthier food, when made accessible, is only meaningful when it's also made affordable. We call it the 2 A's at Wholesome Wave, not AA, for branding purposes, but it really is access and affordability. And through our Double Up programs, now active in 29 states and Washington, D.C., our evidence has shown that consumers living in poverty on SNAP benefits actually demand healthier foods, and when affordable access is made available to them, they take full advantage of it. 3 years of community-friendly study have demonstrated that SNAP consumer values ranked by highest level importance were, first and foremost, quality of produce. Second, that the markets accepted SNAP benefits. Third, taking part in the community, or third, supporting local farmers and businesses. Fourth, taking part in the community. Fifth, selection of produce, and then 6 other pieces behind it that just didn't rank quite as high. That's important stuff. That's the opinion of a Whole Food shopper, and that's a SNAP consumer, 1,200 of them. These programs have exposed the true face of SNAP consumers. Diverse Americans who deeply care about their families and their communities, and that they can make change. And this evidence with partners like Fair Food Network in Michigan, Market Umbrella in Mississippi and Louisiana, and Roots of Change in California has led to language in the federal farm bill that passed the Senate and the House Ag Committee that funded incentives for fruit and vegetables for SNAP recipients. We're hoping that the bill will get back and that we'll be able to make some more improvements. We all have concerns about that, but it really has proven that people living in poverty, when their voices can be exposed, can be the heroes of a changed food system. These people have $80 billion a year to spend on food. We want to see that they're spending it on good food. And now we're going to prove that now we're going to prove that increasing affordable access will reduce healthcare costs significantly. We're very, very proud to enter this amazing public-private partnership through the Food and Community Change Initiative by bringing the fruit and vegetable prescription program to New York. Our partnership with New York City's Health and Hospital Corporation will provide at-risk community members with prescriptions that they can take to farmers markets and food access points and spend on fruits and vegetables, enough to increase their consumption of fruits and vegetables, a serving per day per family member per month. At the end of the month, when these consumers use their benefits to get them refilled, the prescription refilled, they have to go back and be measured for health outcomes. What the program has demonstrated in 8 states through 12 partners is that 38.1% of participants have dropped their BMI in a 4-month intervention, which is historic. Yes, remarkable. We also measure other stuff, like how does the intervention stack up against other interventions. 70% of participants continue to return to take advantage of the intervention. 95% of participants, when they return the 70% of the times, 95% are receiving consistent health messaging throughout every part of what we call the health value chain. There's a health value chain, and to have that value chain complete, all of the community organizations, academic institutions, public health institutions, doctors, nurse practitioners, nutritionists, chefs, farmers markets, nonprofit organizations that work on food access and food justice issues really need to embrace community members and let them be part of that partnership. Give them that place at the table. They're the ones who are spending the money and making the choice. And their endeavor to make their children healthier, which is something that they desperately want to do, can actually change the food system faster than if every white tablecloth restaurant in the country went farm to table tomorrow. So the power really is in the hands of community members living in poverty. It's there. They have the resources. They're thinly stretched. We can help them make that choice and that decision. And thanks to Laurie and her great work, thanks to the other funding organizations here too, Kellogg, Robert Wood Johnson's, the philanthropic community really has made a huge difference in being able to forward this work. I've been at this for 30 years, and I remember the first W.K. Kellogg Foundation grants coming out for Food and Society Initiative work. And I remember the philanthropic community going in and seeing what's happening in these communities just isn't right. There are people trying to make it happen. They don't have what they need. Let's help them out. Let's come up with grant programs that can make these things so. So thank you very much. Thanks, Laurie, for all of this great work, and we look forward to amazing outcomes to celebrate.
Congratulations not only to Wholesome Wave, but to the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation. Do we have anyone in the room from HHC? I wish we did. And I think the invitation got lost in the email. Also, the person who brought this initiative to our attention is Kim Kessler, the Mayor's Food Policy Coordinator. And is Kim in the room? I know that invitation got to you. Okay. So, finally, our last grantee for now, Denise Scott, Executive Director of LISC New York City, a champion of affordable housing, community development, economic development, neighborhood revitalization, and now healthy communities. Denise?
Thank you. It's great to be here. And thank you, Laurie and Illumination Fund, for this really extraordinary partnership and commitment. LISC New York City is dedicated to helping low-income communities all across the city to become healthy communities of choice, good places to live, to do business, to work, and raise families. We've been at this for some 30 years now and have helped to build the capacity of many local not-for-profits across the city, leveraging financial resources, sharing best practices, and brokering collaborations to build stronger communities. Our investment of over $2 billion has helped to leverage another $3 billion and enabled us to build some 33,000 units of housing across the city, assisting some 100,000 families with new housing opportunities, and also helped to produce over 2 million square feet of commercial space. LISC Building Sustainable Communities model is a comprehensive approach to community development, which enables us to get our work done and to partner not only to build housing, but also to help build schools and have economic opportunities and as well as healthy environments. So access to fresh and nutritious food is an integral component of the work that we're doing. As a national organization with a local focus, the LISC New York City program benefits from the national connection. We're able to use national resources and expertise of national LISC as part of a cross-site learning, being able to share lessons learned among some 31 programs across the country. This partnership with the Illumination Fund will enable us to expand our commitment to integrate healthy food and education and access into all of the approaches that we use. Our program is called Communities for Healthy Food New York City, and it's a 3-year initiative to strategically incorporate healthy food strategies in every aspect of our neighborhood-based work by educating our residents, housing staff, community service providers, and our food vendors on nutrition and food preparation and overall health, and by locating healthy food outlets in places that don't currently have them. And the fact that we have built so many housing units and have so much commercial space lends itself quite nicely to the opportunity to create new outlets for healthy food. This innovative place-based healthy food initiative capitalizes on a network of very strong community-based organizations and their work over the years in many of the neighborhoods that we're talking about working in. The program is also an economic development program as we begin to build on retail outlets and urban markets and other food-related enterprises in these neighborhoods. That means more jobs in many neighborhoods where unemployment is fairly high. To ensure success, we're implementing this program with our community development partners in 4 high-need communities across the city. In Harlem, with the West Harlem Group Assistance, in Brooklyn, with Cypress Hills Local Development Corporation and Northeast Brooklyn Housing Development Corporation, and in the Mount Eden section of the Bronx, with new housing, with new settlement apartments. These community organizations are trusted resources in their communities. They're experienced community and housing developers, and they have a long track record of revitalizing housing. And food access is just, and education, and the work that we intend to do is just another part of the comprehensive approach that they've all taken over the years. This is also an opportune time for us in this partnership with the fund because nationally, LISC has also launched a community health initiative. That the national effort is focused broadly on all aspects of community health, and access to healthy food is a key component. As we launch this new and exciting partnership with the Illumination Fund, we expect to be able to tap our in-house expertise and national LISC resources to enable us to develop a partner with an evaluation partner, a framework that will build on our proven approach to comprehensive community development, but adapts the model to our targeted focus on increasing access to fresh and healthy food. Let me just say in closing that for us, comprehensive community development is important component of, is the model for our work, and healthy food is an important component of it. I want to thank the fund for support, and Laurie and the team, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Denise and to all of our other, Rick is right, they're not really partners because it's really their work. But I feel like you're partners. We've spent a lot of time with you. We've seen your sites. We've grilled you, and not in the food kind of way. And you've come back over and over and over with the right answers, with well thought out answers. And we're really so, so proud to be working with all of you. And we look forward to hearing your results, and most importantly, to see the really important changes that your work is about to make.